barely can see me, but I guess it really doesn't even matter. For real, when cars came into our lives as humans, what happened to all the professional horse people? The people that took care of the horses, that made the horseshoes, that made the saddles. What happened to them? I don't know the answer. Of course, I can look it up. Then, when computers came on the scene, what happened to the computers, as they used to call them, that did all that kind of stuff by hand? Hmm. Now, what happened when we got phones to all of the radio repairmen? Hmm. And what happened after we slimmed TV down and now they only cost $400 for a 55-inch to the TV repairman? Do we pity them? Is that something that we're still like, what's going on? This is terrible. TV repairmen should be plentiful. Where are they? This is a horrendous, terrible world we're living in now. Is that our reality? All that to say, we're in a really new age. We're in a age that is moving pretty fast, and it's a new revolution. Not industrial, not necessarily artistic, but it's not quite defined yet because we don't really know where it's ending. We can say the Industrial Revolution is the Industrial Revolution because by the end of that era, industries and the manufacturing and all that were built up, solidified, and they were the thing. Now we can't really like we of course you could say it's AI. The AI revolution. But is it the AI revolution that frankly we may not know? It could be shift of paradigms. That's it. It's not AI in terms of artificial intelligence is the revolution, because saying AI revolution is just it's too broad. So I think it's going to be something a lot more specific, like the almost like how the phone was an interface. We don't say the phone revolution. You can say the internet revolution. That's a revolution because that's a whole different paradigm. That's a whole different architecture on which other things were built upon. And I guess you could say similarly to the phone, but it's not the same. This phone is a product that was built off the back of that revolution. It's not a revolution in itself. At least I don't perceive it as one. Essentially, all this to say, there will always need to be people who know ball. And when I say know ball, I mean know what they're talking about and are an expert at a craft. There are still TV repairmen. And those TV repairmen are still really good at what they do. They are professionals and they exist. And if they exist now and it's still relevant and they're still needed, then they will continue to exist. If there's a place for them, they will continue to exist. Even more so, even if they were to completely disappear, we live in an age to where it would not be hard to regress back to bringing TV repairmen back if that was needed. But the fact that it's not, in terms of there's not a lot of repairmen, is indicative that we don't find it that essential. But in the future, if we're like, I kind of want to start fixing these TVs, and everybody starts fixing their TVs or doesn't go straight to just buying a new one and throwing it away, then we're going to have TV repairmen. It brings me to the idea of Cyberpunk 2077. The guy who created it, he had talked about his philosophy about it. He said, think about a time where phones are not getting created every year. Think about a time where technology isn't plentiful in new release. What happens? What happens when the last phone that was new and made at a global scale is the iPhone 20? And after that, only the richest of the rich, or they just don't come out every year, a new iPhone. What happens to all the previous iPhones? They still potentially work. Well, maybe not iPhone so much, because if you go back to the old ones, then they probably won't work in terms of with the newer stuff. But that paradigm would shift too in terms of the softwares. But that's for a whole nother video. What happens if that were to occur? Then the people would figure out, recall how to repair and fix and do all these different things with the iPhones that are still accessible. And that's the main point right there. There will always be somebody that knows ball, and there will always be the knowledge of ball now somewhere. And if it is relevant enough, if it is a necessity, us as humans, typically we have a pretty good track record of always figuring that shit out. So the whole AI is going to replace all these people's jobs and then we're going to get universal basic income. Sounds good. Universal basic income actually sounds very interesting to be implemented in reality and not sci-fi. But then again, the idea came from sci-fi, and this is somebody's idea, and we have we have the tendency to kind of replicate sci-fi because sci-fi has already been popularized by humanity, and thus art affecting the practicality of our world in its current state, which is crazy because people be disrespecting the arts, and the arts are where we even get some of the things, the ideas and all that to even bring anything into reality. Like, look at Elon doing some crazy stuff, and you know this man ain't getting all those ideas out if it wasn't for sci-fi. Like, he's literally trying to go to Mars. Why do you want to go to Mars, bro? Nobody else was wanting to go to Mars except for in sci-fi. There will always be the roles of the people. There will always be roles that the people desire. And if a role diminishes, it doesn't necessarily mean that role will disappear. Because in today's current age, it's pretty hard to remove those type of skillful knowledge, that type of skillful knowledge. It's pretty hard because there's people that actually know how, and it's too easy to share it now. Now, back when you can burn down libraries and kill people, well, I mean, you still can do both of those, but back when that was the most effective way of getting rid of methods to allow for that re-education. So I think we'll be fine. I think that we will be fine as humans because we always, in a weird kind of way, balance all this shit out with the collective hive mind, which is insane to me. Which is insane to me. But again, I don't think that anybody has a real worry or should have a real worry for jobs being taken by AI or even jobs disappearing at all in the current state of how we access, acquire, share information. We have the freaking internet. Albeit fragile, we have the internet. And that alone is one of the spectacles that gives me the most confidence in saying this. Don't be scared, man. Don't be scared, because it's more so understanding that you kind of have to stop being in the box that you thought the box was going to be. Does that make sense? You have to stop being in the box that you thought the box was going to be. You thought this box was going to be the way that you thought society was going to shape up. But it's not. But you're still in it as if it was. So either get out that box or accept that box for what it is.